Okay.
7 o'clock, call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag,
of the
United States of America,
United States,
Republic, for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Thank you. Okay, amendments to the agenda.
Just a couple, one, if we could add personnel, executive session, personnel, 1 BSA 313A 4. Also, just the item 1 is 7 o'clock versus 7:30. Here's the
Okay. Personnel to that. I guess we can do a motion just to make it.
I'll make a motion to.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Loud and clear. All right,
So Jeff is here.
Jeff is here,
Hi, Jeff.
not only in spirit.
It's just like I'm not there.
But you are.
You get to have your kid crawl around on you though.
No, she's asleep.
Oh, lucky you.
Yep.
Nothing forever. Approval of minutes, June 2nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 2nd, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Additions, deletions, corrections,
Comment?
comment?
Yeah, in the minutes, it said here, that Mr. Travis said to bring your appropriate place for questions. Where is the appropriate place to bring questions if they're not selected?
Some questions appeared to me to be just complaining about the same issue over and over again, and instead of,
Well, you have
you get the same answer every time.
to bring it to the attention all the time because nobody wants to do anything about it.
Well,
Okay, no one wants to agree with you doing anything about what you want.
The
That doesn't make it
But the
wrong.
point I'm trying to make is the board here at this board meeting is the appropriate time to ask the questions.
You should, and I don't want you to feel like you can't ask questions, I just don't want to hear the same question.
I could say the same thing to you, so I mean,
I understand.
but this is the appropriate time to ask the question.
we have this on the board, it's a little bit off the beaten path. Anybody, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, 5 minutes for public comment. John?
The shielding, fell off in, dust. I wonder if we had a report from the guys that inspected the fire station, no?
No, we were gonna talk about that. He came in and he inspected the beam, took some pictures, asked some additional questions, and we're waiting for the report.
And you're good with, we're gonna do shielding, I guess that's,
Well, the thing is, every time I go over the door, more insulation falls off.
no, I'm talking about,
Well, the shielding,
I'm gonna put something in for the town clerk.
well, like that.
That was, you know,
Yeah, so we, just to be clear though, so we're following state guidelines. Suzanne said she would feel more comfortable if there was a face shield, which is easy enough. I got a big piece of plexiglass at the house. I can just attach it for the short term until things pass. And then when we're ready to go, we'll just take it down.
But we're also gonna address a bunch of Bill in his room. In his life account.
I'll ask Phil and see if he's tired.
Yeah, exactly, also.
we've got the glass,
If
we've got the windows.
Yeah, but people aren't wired all the time, so you can talk.
if staff feel uncomfortable, we'll be happy to address it. But right now, we are following guidelines.
I noticed I saw that regulations in there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, off the top through there. Do we have any public works supervisor?
Not yet.
Okay, there's one.
This is the appropriate time to put the false, letter in the minute, or not, for the day. I'll read the letter, and then we can put all the stuff he offered into the minutes of the bar that everyone. And has the, from the Maplewood Inn, dear select board, we're sending you this letter in lieu of attending the June 16th meeting and authorizing the allocated public comment periods. We request this letter be read into the minutes. Okay. The current list of towns that have levied a local option town is a veritable list of destination towns with a history of steady and stable tourist trade. Fairhaven is not one of those towns that has minimal business space with numerous vacant storefronts, commercial properties. Additionally, alternatives to every Fairhaven business exist within just a couple of miles in nearby Polding and Castleton. Leveling this tax puts Fairhaven at a disadvantage in attracting new businesses. All other things being equal, most potential business owners would opt for a location without an added tax. It seems counterproductive to levy a tax that will cause both loss of customers to existing businesses as well as potential loss of new business in town. As an innkeeper, we can tell you firsthand that even 9% room tax costs owns from the other end of the phone line, and on a couple occasions has lost us a reservation. By virtue of having to show or say a 10% tax, we're likely to lose even more business as potential customers get field count by a double-digit number. As an informal survey of Fairhaven retail and restaurants resulted in everyone citing 20 to 30% drop in revenue when Green Mountain College closed in May of 2019. With nothing to replace that revenue, many businesses were already struggling before the current pandemic unfolded. It certainly behooves the town and this board to conduct a survey of Fairhaven businesses and base their decisions to move forward with a valid measure on the fact and not on the perfection of the state of Vermont. At the very least, the board and the voters need to understand that projected revenue is based on pre-GMC closure sales that would likely be at least 25% less than the number advertised during the last ballot measure. There should be great caution taken into building this number into a budget, as there certainly will be much less collected. Taking pandemic into account, that will even be smaller number for some time to come. It will be years or more before restaurant and lodging sectors even begin to recover. We have heard some say it doesn't cost the business anything, and that is untrue at two levels. One, it will cost us customers, and two, all merchants pay credit card processing fees based on gross charge. To that end, using round number for illustrative purposes only, for each 100,000 in annual sales, businesses will be paying an additional $30 to $50 per year processing fee. So as you can see, this does not become a tax for the small business owner. This does become a tax for the small business owner. The same business owners that are already paying a non-residential rate for their business property. The local option tax would also apply to heating oil, electricity, and other utilities supplied to Fairhaven businesses. And this is the attached rules on local option tax, which is attached and will be in the minutes as well. An example for Maplewood Inn, the additional tax on heating oil and propane is an additional tax burden of approximately $45 a year. Electricity, $18 a year. Cable and internet services for guests would add $16 a year. And tax on phone service would add $5 a year. At minimum, we are looking at $89 per year in additional overhead. This tax that is aimed to be a fair alternative disproportionately affects businesses in town. While chain stores may be able to easily absorb this overhead and or pass along to customers, URNs, independent retailers, and mom-and-pop restaurants cannot. In addition, the local option tax would likely be regressive tax on the poorest and elderly residents of their area. Those who do not have the means of transportation shop solely in the few stores in town out of necessity. Those who have the means to travel freely will do so and shop out of town. Perhaps in a booming economy, this plan would be a good one, but we suspect it has been a long time since Fairhaven has had a booming economy, and that'll be some time before that happens. Now is not the time to punish your local businesses. And signed by Paul and Roy on DPP's effort. Anybody want to, I mean, if they were here, we could respond. Anybody wants to, or we can move on.
I think they were looking for next steps as well, so we could get back to them. Like, is there going to be an informational session for the town? When would that be? When would the vote be? And I also was approached by the Fairhaven Inn with pretty much similar concerns, and they want to know the same information. So how can we get back to them with that?
We can, I'm developing an informational handout like we did for the bond vote. We have until November, it's the November 11th election. It is 20 days before that where we start the process. So I can get I did hand out a calendar with those dates, but I can get it out again and make sure everybody knows.
Make sure it's full.
Yeah, we're still a lot of months away though.
And as long as they not part of the letter.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would be a document to, you know.
Yeah,
Now that we received it, and
Yes, I can get Paul some information.
We still have to actually officially vote to put it on the ballot, right? We haven't done that yet.
We still, you have to go through the hearings, 2 hearings, and then that would be the official time where you can.
my only comment is that it's working, that we want people like Paul and others to say how they feel and what the impacts may be. We can take it all, so this is all part of the process of seeing what the effects are to help us make the final decision. So this, it's a good thing.
So you're going to send him out a letter of some sort
I can send
next
him,
week or two?
I can send it tomorrow.
Okay.
I emailed him today, just told him we got the letter and I would make copies. So I'll send him a follow-up, tell him what the dates are.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Anything else?
Are you gonna mention it has to go on the property tax if this tax didn't go through?
It doesn't have to go.
Well,
That's
it's gotta
the
go some, the people on the water and sewer can't afford themselves.
So Paul's not on he's not on the water system. It's funny, so just before the meeting, I kind of went through and hammered out some numbers, using his numbers. He would actually, if he was on water sewer, he would actually come out ahead with the tax by like $48 a year. Because the quarterly rate, the base rate, goes from, what is it, $16.30 now up to like $60. So you multiply that times 4, that turns into a lot of money for a small business.
For anybody.
For everybody.
I heard you say once that there's people that aren't on the town water and sewer that have a choice not to be, or could be on it.
I think there are people close to the system that could join. In fact, I had a guy last week call and ask about extending the water line and connecting to his house or his property. So yes,
Would that make a positive impact on just a handful of people?
I don't understand the question, Carol, I'm
Would
sorry.
that make a positive impact on what the deficit is, what you're presuming the businesses will make up the difference? If there are more people paying that tax now.
water line.
more people paying water, for water. Oh, yeah, that would make a huge difference. The more people on
So
the
how
system.
many people are out there that aren't on it that could be or should be?
Oh, I
Are
don't.
there any?
I don't have that number. I can pull it and send it out though.
I think when we were looking at water and sewer, we said there were like 932 people hooked up to water and only
8 something.
8 something hooked up to sewer.
But you're looking for,
There's a rule saying if you're within 200 feet.
It's 100 feet, right?
100 feet?
I think so.
Okay, I was thinking 200, that you have to look up. But, for instance, I'm not on sewer, the sewer line is much farther away than 100 for sure.
There's over 150 people that aren't on water or sewer, live outside of the water, sewer, all outside.
It would help, but
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is this is a big cost. Cost will be in the base rate, it will be paid by the base rate, and that's a huge increase. Going from 16 to, I know the last time we looked, it was not 60, it was close to
57.
Was it? No, it was under,
56 or 57.
no, it was under, I thought it was under 50. Anyway, it doesn't matter, it's a lot, it's a huge increase.
Is that recorded, Rob?
Yeah, quarter. Yeah, it was started out at $66 a quarter, but we've gained a little bit with lower prices and a good grant and lower interest rate. But we're down a little bit, but it's not a lot. It's still, what the 700, 600 something sewer users, we're the only ones that are slated to pay for that. Yeah. If we do something different, Jay's suggestion of putting it in that general fund, so, come up with $150,000 in the general fund, or part of the general fund. Some percentage of it is, it's just an alternative. We gotta do something. Everybody benefits from the sewer system. And a lot of people don't pay for it, maybe one. We'll have to do something, whether it's a local option. I think it's pointed out, though, I mean, who the heck knows what's gonna be like in the next few years?
I think there's also some fear of not knowing. You're making assumptions. It's just like when you're making assumptions of what you're gonna have with the option tax. The assumptions you're making that you're gonna savings and what's gonna happen without, I think they're real. But we should listen. I think it's good that we have open dialogue with our businesses. The last thing we want to do is make it tougher for them. At the same time, touch base with them.
All right, let's move on then. Unless anybody else.
You're going to attach that letter to the
The minute.
minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
plus there's a fact sheet gave it.
Perfect.
That'll go to. Department head report.
I've got one.
You,
Can I
I
keep
don't
this
have a lot.
copy?
We did have a, got called for subject in the park, analyzing the park. We did catch him. He broke the, COVID start. We know it's him. We just need to get some witnesses, some statements. Some saw were 12 or 13, so I don't know. But he did go to incapacitate a person over to the drunk tank in jail. Graduation seemed to go over pretty good. Grade seemed to be well received. It was a little tough. You were there trying to get it going, and out was like, oh, everybody's here. So we kind of did that together at the last moment. I apologize, my car was dirty. It wasn't working. It came in and realized, oh, we got free tonight. So my car was dirty, unfortunately. And one officer that's out for a couple weeks for medical issues. Couple full-timers. I think that's all I have.
Are you representing or?
I'm here to answer questions that we can on the road here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm up, okay. We'll talk later today, but the fuel tank bids are in. Those came in a little higher than what the original thought was last year. There was a little bit of money left over in the transfer station budget. We are buying new software and a computer for that. Those guys, that system's been crashing for a while now, so it'll really improve service down there. We are selling dump stickers at the dump. We didn't do it like straight out of the gate. I was waiting for Bev to get back. She's been away. And since she was the owner of that process, I wanted to kind of ask her and get her opinion. But I guess folks were expecting those stickers to be there, so we just dropped them in, and I just made a sheet to go with it. We'll make adjustments as needed. Speaking of Bev, I'm still covering down. I'm still covering the front office. And we can talk later about it, but I'm covering payments, and because Jenny is doing end of year stuff, I'm just letting her do her work, and I'm trying to take the burden off of her. Sneeze guard, this is the first I heard about the sneeze guard today. We'll put it up tomorrow. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Around Suzanne's desk. Homeowner on Town Highway 63, in case you hear. A young lady blocked the road with a chain and felled some logs in the road so that way you couldn't pass. The police chief did go up and have a conversation with her. 4th of July is coming on quick, where we set up a plan to make sure the cemetery's cleaned up. DPW is going to help. I'm going to bring my own weed whacker and get out there if they need the assistance. I guess that's all on that one. The Historical Society, they approached me last week, said they were going to donate some money to get the side of the Peck building repainted, just a little, I don't know what you call it, the little square of the picture. They requested, I think it was $1,200. I know the board did allocate some money before for a grant, but it's not that much. I was just going to take it out of the operating budget. It was like short money, we could take it right out of grant. The Peck building, the one on the corner of River Street. Yeah, Peck Rock. We talked about the structural engineer. Mechanic Street, we got one more drain to install. The north side of 4th Street, there was still water pooling there. Last year, it seemed the swale took care of it. This year, you can see where the water pools up over that sidewalk. I couldn't in good conscience send those guys away without fixing this, because the project is that close to good. And we did receive the park lighting grant paperwork, and we're waiting for the parking lot paperwork to come in. And I think that's all I got for you.
Where are we with choosing design?
Well, we're still a little ways out.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been hounding the program manager, but he's backed up on his end. The state wasn't working on any of the grant programs during COVID, so they just opened it back up.
I mean, this is obviously a good time to do it this year if we can pull it off.
Yeah.
Between now and no one. You're not gonna have any months.
No, yeah.
How many people were in the park for the picture taking of the seniors?
I don't know how many people showed up. Were they wearing masks?
No.
No. They called and said they wanted to take pictures, and I said, as long as you social distance and wear your masks. I was told that didn't work for them.
They were told we're taking pictures.
That didn't work for them. Well,
Yeah,
And they're all told, so.
they were packed in.
on it. Unfortunately, they're voluntary.
14 days from now, we'll see the result.
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's like I can ask, but am I gonna walk out there and be the mask police?
It'll work.
It wouldn't, no, they would just tell me to go away. That was it, that's all I have.
Questions for town manager? Oh, I have one. What is a sweep account?
That's also, even though all of our money, we see different line items for where the cash is sitting, we have one big piggy bank where all the money goes. And as money is transferred between accounts, it's swept here or there. So there's, when you see a number with, like all of your, like public works accounts or grant fund accounts, all that money is commingled together. It's just broken out on paper. Does that make sense?
Oh, except that, why would we have extra? I mean, I don't understand the concept of being able to use it. If we're gonna be short, we're short. Why would the sweep account help us not be short? Or we're end up gonna be short something. I guess is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Well, it's in terms of cash flow, because money is still gonna be coming in. So we'll still be catching money, it's just a matter of who you run out at a certain time. And Jenny's pretty confident that, no, we will be fine. I did have a conversation with the school today, and they are still looking for their money at the regular time. But the board has the option to vote when to, yeah. The board has the option to vote when to send that tax bill out, which is on the agenda today.
They're the reason why we're not gonna be able to send our tax bills out. And no matter what, we'd have to borrow money to pay the school.
Jenny doesn't think we'll have to borrow.
What's our payment to the school for the first quarter?
It's 2 million, it would be about 500,000. Don't quote me on it, it's not an exact number, but you know, if we send 2 million a year.
They went all last year and not sent us a bill until last. And now this year, they demand their money. Nice
They
operation.
can borrow money too, they don't have to use the money.
Yeah, the state did approve the no, what do you call it? The state approved the law where we can borrow money and then the state will pay us the interest if we're paying off our school debt. Does that make sense? We pay our school payment, we don't have to pay the interest.
Well, when we get close to that time, talk about that again. I mean, I would love to have a little cooperation. From the other part of it.
Question on, next week, you're gonna start some interviews for Department of Public Works?
This week?
This week.
Oh, yeah, that starts
What
this
is,
week.
and I'm just curious, so you're gonna do the interviews, what are you looking for, what role for the select board? Any of that at all, or are you just gonna?
Ups and downs.
I question how that process works.
It really is not really one.
Okay, just a question of
I mean,
how it happens.
I think we will probably give our opinion. And we certainly, but the way it works, town manager gets to make that without our end of it, the spending part, how much we're gonna pay a person. But the day-to-day running of the town belongs to the town manager. It's weird.
And the reason I asked the question is that last meeting, we had some discussion around whether the quality of the applications didn't look to be there and whether we were gonna do something different. I'm going, oh, okay, well, it sounds like we got some good quality applications in, that's a good thing. And so there'll be interviews made, and an offer made, and we'll be told who's coming in, how the process works. Yeah, just wanted to know.
Well, I'll, like we did last time, though, I don't like to be I like to be collaborative. I'll introduce and we can all talk. I much prefer it that way,
Okay.
because that's what the board still wants to do.
Yeah, we'd like, obviously, we want to know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You don't have to, that's not fine.
No, we work together.
Other questions? No?
I'm sorry, I did have one more thing. I was just looking at Mikey, he's got his mask on. So I'm asking the board now, that because this dollar amount is so large, the water department has asked to get a valve exerciser. The cost is more than $9,000. We did go through the process of getting our quotes. We followed our purchase policy. But it is such a large amount of money that I didn't want to just drop it and not tell anybody. So I was looking for opinions from the board if you were interested in getting an exerciser or if this caused us heartburn.
What's it do and where's the money coming from?
I was just going to say, before we get into that argument, the money we have in our budget left over for this fiscal year, so there would be no asking for additional funds. Back when I started here in Kerber and everybody involved, we're going to start exercising all the valves in town. It's been brought up in our sanitary surveys. It helps prolong the life of all the valves because they're being used. Some of the ones in town, as you guys all know, haven't been used for 20, 25 years. You go to try to shut off the street, you end up digging a hole because you snapped the valve. We are asking for one that is a little bit better, but it's going to be pay for itself. Everything okay, Jeff?
I muted.
I just got a dog that's yelling at something, but sorry, I tried to mute it.
Also, safety-wise, it will stop people from yanking and jerking and twisting on all those wrenches. I do know of one, since I've been here, there's one on Academy Street. Jack Eaton was on one side, I was on the other side, with a 4-foot barrier on each side. Either one of us were able to move. What this is going to allow us to do, same as with hydrant flushing, each year go around the town and operate every valve in town. So in 2 o'clock on a Friday morning or Saturday morning in below 0 in January, we know that valve will shut off, but we won't have to worry about it because that's how we can fight it. As I said, the money is left over in our budget. Tom and I haven't really spent a whole lot of money this year, not knowing what's going to happen.
What line item do you want?
So you could take it out of water lines, just because that would be what it's primarily used for, is working on the lines. And there's $10,000 sitting there now.
What about the lawnmower? Wasn't that coming out of excess that was left as well?
It was.
Is there enough for both?
There is. They have, as of right now, there's 27,000, and that lawnmower's already come out. And there's 2 weeks to go left in the year.
And the one we have, it's not a dedicated trailer and or truck. It is one that can slip into the standard tow package on any pickup truck or town truck. So if next year, just for example, our truck is getting fixed or for whatever reason unavailable, you'd be able to use one of the town trucks and still go do the same job that we're doing. It doesn't have to be a certain truck. And, it's portable enough where it can be stored right at the water plant, not sit outside, down in the town garage or anything like that. And, like I said, it's just going to save the town a lot of money in the long run, not having to dig up valves that 1, 2, 3 years down the road are gonna need to be turned and not going to turn.
What, well, I mean, that.
Makes sense. Yep.
We're good. And that's the little board? Yes? Everybody?
Sorry to drop this on you, but it was end of fiscal year and it's a lot of money without just saying something to the board. So,
Do that.
yeah, I mean,
But also, thank you for, letting us ask for it. It'll be something that will be used every year, but not just.
Is that it?
yeah, that was all for me, I promise. I keep doing that to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to move
No
on.
longer the lot. Figure out, no. Yes.
Try to get the whole business here. Slate sidewalk sales.
Yeah, so I think it might have been 3 meetings ago, the board approved the sale of 6 tiles. And we wanted a kind of an idea of what that process looked like moving forward if the board wanted to continue to sell them for whatever reason. Whether it be a fundraiser or just to sell the tiles to the local residents. We did sell each tile for $20. There are about 30 or 35 down there still remaining.
How many pieces are in a file?
I asked Nate this morning, he says there's about 35 sitting down there. I don't think, my opinion, I don't think we should sell them all just in case there are some tiles that get broken out there we need replaced, but we could probably sell 20 of those tiles if the board wanted and then put that money towards whatever you see fit.
More money, let's put it in the sidewalk.
Well,
What's everybody think?
Fine, are there people interested in buying them? Can you sell them?
Yeah,
there were, yeah.
Okay.
make sure that it's well advertised so that everybody.
Remember, that's no.
Yeah, you can change the name on it every once in a while too.
All under, yeah.
If you're gonna advertise it, I'd specify you only have 20 pieces.
Yeah, right, yeah. And, you know, maybe a certain amount for customers.
Oh, like
We
only,
won't sell all
5 per
20 to one
customer.
person because they'll just, the next thing you know, there'll be an advertisement for plate sidewalk for $100.
On eBay.
yeah.
So,
Should we make it resident only?
I think that's so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resident only, $20, limit
5.
5.
That's more than enough for somebody's sidewalk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The money's gonna go in the sidewalk fund.
How about the playground?
There you go. That's fine.
Yeah, we take it every little bit. I would need
You all right
a,
with that?
I would need a motion.
Sure. Do you need a motion for that? So I'll make a motion that we sell 20, is it, of these slate tiles, no more than 5 per resident, and put the funds, proceeds into our playground fund.
Second?
Second.
Everybody know what we're doing? All those in favor?
All right?
Aye.
Thanks. All right, water and sewer rate, final water and sewer rate.
Yes. So the final budget was approved at the last meeting. The revenues were in your packet. You'll see the total revenues that equal, or God willing, do equal the budget, the expenditures. The water rate per gallon went up 11 cents, and the sewer rate per gallon went up 13 cents. The base rates for both stayed the same. I would need,
A motion to
Yep.
accept the water and sewer.
if you have that, You can,
What are the days
you can read it.
now?
So I'll make a motion to accept, we'll start with it looks like the sewer rates, base rate of $16.30, metered rate of $13.42, 10,000 gallons.
Is there a second? Anybody?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's a motion to accept the rates.
Yeah.
We accepted the budget last time.
Right.
We're looking for signatures on those, right?
Yes, sir.
Signing that, the next one we'll do is the water rates. I'll make a motion that the base rate is $38.50 per quarter, the meter rate $6.77 per 1,000 gallons.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yep. Thank you. Now, do we have, fees and stuff, do you want that as well?
The fees remain the same.
Okay.
Last year, we didn't vote on, what?
No, it's fine, if they're the same, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Don't wanna change anything with it. Okay. Fuel tank installation bid.
So when we started this project last year, the last board had talked about just putting tanks in the basement, so we reached out and got numbers for that. Putting tanks in the ground is a little bit more expensive than putting tanks in the basement. Bids came in at the low bid of $33,000, the high bid of $89,000.
We didn't want to do it.
No, that was,
How big a tank is this?
this is a 2,000 gallon double wall tank.
33,000 to dig a hole to put a 2,000 gallon tank in?
Sure.
In the back.
That's the removal line installation, I don't.
No, that's just insulation.
Just inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can remove it. So,
That's.
So what do we have?
This is everything. You buy the tank and install it.
Okay, this is purchase and installation.
Yes.
Okay.
So the state gave us 20,000. I reached out just to see what our options were. And they said they can augment the loan. It's a 5-year loan. It would bring the payment up to $8,000 instead of $4,000 a year.
What's the interest on that?
0% interest. This is the state's program to help folks like us remove these in-ground tanks.
How,
Is this going into a cement base or a cement wall or anything?
There is, so I talked to, yes, they will put cement over it so that way you can drive on top of it.
Oh, it's gotta have, oh, no.
Or, yeah. However
So
they
it's
do
gonna
it.
be an enclosure, it will be an enclosure.
Yeah. It's gonna be double walled with cement around it.
what does the 8,000 do to the general fund budget?
It would be an increase of 4,000 and of course, there's already 4,000 budgeted, so it's just that increase.
Can you make that work?
if we decide to go forward, we would have to. I'm sure we can trim up somewhere. $4,000 is not an unsurmountable number.
What's your recommendation, Joe?
At this point, Jeff, if we don't replace the fuel tank, then we don't do the entire town hall project, because this is a stipulation on that money. If we want to keep moving forward, we have to do it. And if we don't, then we don't.
The other alternative is to go back to something in the cellar, in-house.
Yeah. Put some smaller tanks in, a couple 300 or 600 gallon tanks, and whatever we can fit.
330 might.
And then we are, then they're here the other week. So,
That's the thing.
They're going in the basement or they're going outside?
well,
Smaller tank, gotta go.
You're burning 900 gallons of fuel here every 2 weeks?
We go through about 7,000 gallons for 12 months. So whatever that comes out to be. Let me do the math.
I'm not gonna get much fuel break out
what's your budget
Oh,
for?
about 134 gallons.
My only question, is there any reason why the low bid, which is Murray and Madison, is there any reason why we wouldn't want to take the low bid? The past experience? Work?
I don't know.
there.
Leo.
It's gone out.
Only that it's low by 700 or.
Right.
It might-
It's
And I don't know
it's not a
why
lot
you-
of, I don't,
I don't know
Is
either.
there-
Does anybody know either of these people?
Mike feels up here in Bridgeport.
No.
I don't know where Murray and Madison.
From Madison to Bennington, but, no idea.
At least Mike's Fuels, you know where he lives.
Yeah.
Isn't he right up in Addison?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What's your budget? You wanna go with another 2,000 pounds of timber?
no,
We can, whoever holds the key, we gotta do something.
I like the idea of the bigger thing, and trying to get, the order and all that good stuff. The little small things. So
I hear a motion working around.
Well, it is, I was trying to get a sense for it. It sounds like, why don't I make a motion that we take the Mike's Fuel bid, which is fairly local, and it's pretty close to even the low bid was 33,000, and this is Mike's Fuel is 33,783.70. So I'll make a motion that we accept Mike's Fuel is 33,783.70.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. My head was on a swivel there, thanks for saving me. Any other discussion?
I just have a comment. I think I need to get up to speed on what the renovations are gonna be. Are the they're really gonna happen?
Some of them.
Because you wanna just wanna make sure that the town office is gonna be here in 5 years, if that's,
So, the green was $400,000 or $500,000 worth of stuff, right?
The original plan was 600,000, but we had to prioritize and bring it down to about 350.
I don't have the history on any of that, so,
Talk to the man.
okay.
But in my understanding that we need a fuel tank. Regardless, we need something, we either need a small one, fuel tank, whether we did a renovation or not. But is that a reasonable statement?
So our tank isn't leaking now. It is a 10,000 gallon in-ground fuel tank, and Jay might know better than me, but the thing's been in the ground for 60 years. It's it behooves us to do it, and since the state's gonna loan us money for 0%, you know, it could be saving us down the road from a hazmat.
Yeah.
site.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we'll never know.
It's a matter of time, I would think. You don't think it's a, yeah. Anybody else questions out? All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Joe, can you plan on next meeting just taking a few minutes to take us through what all those renovations are? Bring everybody up to speed?
Yes. I'll bring the plans. I got a nice set from the architect just last week.
Perfect.
Okay, new business. That's the old discussion.
So we talked, I think it was last meeting, about the when to send out the tax bills and then the implications around that. It really hasn't changed. The school budget did not pass. The state can still give us I think she called it a provisional rate, which it's not the real rate, so we'd have to send out a tax bill anyway once the real rate comes in. So the board needs to decide when to send out tax bills and if to include the school bill along with the first one or send out a second school.
Does the school have a plan?
I talked to the school today and they said they're anticipating another vote sometime in August. They didn't give me a date.
Or a number?
No, they didn't. No, we didn't talk about their budget numbers, no.
Hopefully, less than a lot.
What would you put in there for the tax rate for school? If you added it in?
The state would give us, the state would give us the number. It would just be an estimate of what they're expecting.
Would we have it to send our bills out on time?
The state said they will get those out by early July, yes.
The thing of it is, no matter what, it's provisional.
Yeah,
We're still gonna have-
no matter what, we're going to send two bills.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, if we have something in the tax rate for the school, we're going to have somebody to make the payment. That's my concern.
Yes.
So my suggestion would be send the tax bills out with the estimated tax from the state schools. We know what our tax is going to be. And if there's anything different on homestead tax, we can add it when that next bill goes out. Or if there's a, you know what I'm saying? Or if there's a credit to somebody, we can credit their bill when it goes out. I'll make the motion to do that.
I'll second
I'd-
that.
Yep.
Discussion, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to second it. Good job.
I just,
Well, the current shortfall in the state budget, you're gonna have.
well, you're right, but if we just send out the town tax, we're gonna be liable to pay $250,000 when the school wants their money. But at least this way here, we're gonna be collecting some of the school tax to offset what we gotta pay them.
I agree. I think
It's
there's
easier for the taxpayers too, I think.
I think it would be
to
too.
Plan on it,
taxes.
and if it's gonna different, it will be different, but hopefully not
And
a lot.
an explanation in the tax bill.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
That it is
Yeah.
provisional.
Yeah.
Well, if we have the state part of it, that's major. Because they were saying late August at one point.
Yeah, they backpedaled hard.
I think they got pushed back on that from everybody else.
See, I don't agree with putting them out a month late. I don't,
It's no good.
Well, it might just became.
yeah, but I don't think that's fair to the taxpayer. Because then you're gonna have two tax bills within 2 months.
Everybody understand what we're doing?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again. We've got 3 here. Transfer of police fund.
Yeah, so the police department did sell a cruiser. And Castleton they reimbursed us some money for a bulletproof vest that when the officer went, he took his vest with him. that money's just been kind of sitting in the general fund, and we're asking that to go into the police department, vehicle and equipment fund.
What's the total?
$3,662.85.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion, questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. There. Parking lot stuff.
On to one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
You're done.
Is it police? Okay.
Parking lot. Anybody see anything there? I will tell you that Jake Levade is back in town. So if we wanted to set up a meeting with them. I'll look at that road. It doesn't look that bad. I don't know what would be the problem. But let's get this back, what we got. I'll ask him to get, it's gonna be a long time ago, but he may have some idea what went into that road. I don't know. It's been a long time.
That was-
I'll get some information and we'll stick it on the back. Do you know Jake's? Do you have Jake's phone number? Just so he knows, I can get in touch and let him know.
I got it. Anything else? Talk about local option, all right? Also, tapestry, personnel we're still working on. Okay, let's move on. Board roundtable. That's all you want to say.
I don't know.
I think this one, had a person who lives on Lockburn Street up here, saying that still having trouble with all the potholes, in there, was wondering if we could grade, that, and then we've got some other streets up there, maybe go right up there with the grader.
Where is this?
On Lockburn.
Yeah, off Burger Street, where builders do.
Kind of, Carl. That's good.
Yeah, we can get somebody up. There's a couple of small dirt roads up there.
Yeah, they said that, she appreciates the fact that they go up and they put the gravel on the potholes, but then when it rains or whatever, it just comes all out. Really, that's all right.
I got first stop by one of the firemen. They're walking there. First they have a critter building. And a squirrel that can get out. And so he's depositing stuff all over, including nails. He must be pushing nails out of there. I don't know why that would be, but it's the only thing they can think of is the squirrel. That's all, that's not closed in yet. And they were wondering what that was going to happen.
It's the first I heard about it, but I'll get an exterminator out and see.
Well, I'm talking about more, I think they're more worried about closing the ceiling back in, when can that happen? And when
Upstairs?
it's right in here where it's all open.
They opened up so they could see the beam. the
Oh,
damage in the beam.
I'm sorry, I didn't
I
understand.
think there's a blade that has to be placed too.
Yeah, there is. Oh, honestly, I don't have a timeline for it.
But it,
Well, when we figure out what the, when the engineer lets us know, it will all be contingent on, what the repair looks like, if any repair are needed. Yeah.
I assume that was the case, so that's kind of what I said, but I didn't.
I'll find out about squirrel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. Probably not a good place to be shooting 22 out. Jenny, roundtable?
Couple things. I had a call from someone that wanted to know why the fountain in the park isn't working and what the plan to get that repaired is, or does it need to be repaired?
It works fine. The guys haven't had time to put it in.
It's a new one that has to be put in?
No, it's the old one.
Oh, they take it out every
They
winter.
take it out every winter, yeah. Now that we're short-staffed, and then the COVID came through and slowed us down, then paving came around, and then all the other things that popped up, road maintenance took priority. And that doesn't make people happy, I understand, but,
Well, is it gonna get done this summer?
I'm hoping. But it depends on how fast we get the manholes, fixed up. Yeah. Depot Street needs to be done. We're still on.
That's the only thing that makes them happy when they drive through town.
The fountain.
Just say, yes.
Still good for there.
Right. Had another call about person that's worried about the dogs on Adams Street. Barking constantly, and are they being fed, are they being watered?
We were working on it. Got a complaint. We were over there yesterday on that. We're
Okay.
gonna see if they're registered. I was thinking that whole property. We did send violations on the property. And I was thinking today, I don't think violations are gonna solve, but I was gonna talk to Joe, what's the next step after? You can write tickets all day long if they don't comply. But the dogs are a mess that we're working on down there now.
Does the health officer have any possibilities in here?
I guess so. I'm not familiar with how the health officer status works. Sometimes John says, refer to the police, and I'm like, no, I don't have that authority to close a house or condemn a house. So that part will be back up to John. We can only hold him accountable for the dogs and for the falls under the board for junk violation, solid waste. But we are trying to address the dog issue. I did talk to Mr. Crawford yesterday, and he's going to go work on that.
Yeah, that, I've got complaints about that with that guy, the people who live down there are pretty sick of it.
They who actually moved from over here, and now down there, right in the greenhouse. They moved into the other half. We already had problems with one half, one whole thing.
And the last thing is I sent out to all of you, going until this afternoon, thought on half-track projects. That we could, if people like it, we could put it up there like we did before, have it up every meeting. You can decide the level of importance for each project, and then you have a quick look when you're looking, oh, look, we're mostly in the green, we're doing good, or why are there so many reds? And put comments in there about what the barriers are, like the fountain would be one that would be on there. And I think it might help keep us more organized. At least us that are saying,
At least we know.
what are the projects?
Well, that's my whole thing about I'm old fashioned, like, calendar. And, this is exactly what, all we need to know, the comments, the overview. We don't need to know how many hours it's gonna take or anything like that.
No, it's just,
But you could use it for that. He could use that part of it as well, too.
Carol, would there be a way, like, so myself, had a project for whoever the department head, could go in and put a note in, so you guys could see it online. Like, if I could go in and put a note, yeah, we've done this on our project, and whatever our grant status is on collecting money, or, I'm trying to get from our end, a project that you guys might want to interact with, DPW could go in and update, we did this, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know how we're gonna, I think it'd be great. You have to be able to use Excel to do it. I think that you guys have to be the ones that really find it useful. But I feel like this is something that we've been looking for. It's not to make added work, it's to try to keep it more organized.
Google Docs,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that when we were doing that presentation down there. So in Virginia, each party can go in and alter or put a note and change it. And you could see it live, by what's on there. Like, I don't know if that's, if you wanted to go down to the department head level or to the acre level, but I was just wondering.
Just where you can decide if it's something that we,
I looked at it, I thought it was really good. I thought there's quite a bit more we could put. With me, there's so much going on here, that if nothing else, it lets you consciously say, no, this isn't a high priority. We know we got it. It's here, but it's not major priority because of whether it's manpower or whatever.
and it reminds you of,
We have a lot, there's a lot happening, right? And just trying to capture all that in one place.
It'd be great for us to reference, just a reference tool for us to know where these persons are. Yeah, I vote.
Yeah, let's tinker with it. If it helps the board keep track of what's going on, I mean, that would
But
be,
with me, I don't want you to think it's not to micromanage. In my mind, it's more of someone says, okay, how's everything going with the town hall renovation? Can't tell. I mean, I can't tell you dates or when or anything else. I can tell you, okay, it's going. We're working on stuff, but I can't. Or,
it doesn't have to be an exhaustive
no,
list of everything. It really is just, what are the projects, what's the status, and any important reminders that you want to put in there for, like, what we did, the, like, should we try to get done before winter, or, you know, just things like that.
that's kind of what we were trying to capture with the parking lot, but this would be better because you would have more, there'd be more detail.
Doesn't tell me anything.
It doesn't, it just tells you what that is. So yeah, we can work on that.
Then you wouldn't have to have a parking lot. That would be the parking lot. You could put it up there and update it as we're sitting here.
Yeah.
Police department could have their things, you could update it as we're sitting.
Yeah, let's think of it. We'll see what we can do.
That's it.
The training sessions will begin when?
Next week.
Anything else, that's it? Jeff, you wanna do the expenditure?
Yep.
you got a roundtable?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. You, Bob, you didn't go yet either.
Yeah, I did. I had one thing.
Oh, okay. Then financial reports. Checkbook is $223,337.08. And motion to pay the payroll warrant, $30,244.75.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pay the general fund warrant, $69,463.48.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed?
There was a note on the general fund. This was not over and above. Okay.
All right. So we have an executive session coming up. You wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we move into executive session for civil litigation, 1 DSA 313A1. And property tax, property contract, 1 DSA 313A1. And personnel, 1 DSA 313A4.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.